business. Resolution 2018-05, a resolution renaming former Marble Drive to Circle 7 Drive.
I take it that's over by the plans?
Yes.
Okay.
For years, we have no idea. Robin doesn't have any idea why, and she was here when that was all named, but it just like stops in the middle of the road and changes from Marble to Circle 7. There's one industrial facility that is on Circle 7, and they surely do not want to change their address. So to make the post office happy, Central Dispatch with their emergency dispatching, we are going to make the whole road Circle 7 and get rid of Marble. It doesn't make any sense to us why all of a sudden in the middle of the road it just changes names. So we want to switch that all to Circle 7.
Who made the name Marble to Circle 7? What caused? I understand you're explaining what's causing it, but who made it Marble?
That was way before me. I don't know.
Probably a developer. That's usually the names.
Also, we need to include reaffirming the name of the street between Ty Circle Drive and Harbor Chase Drive as Circle 7 Drive, just to make it clear.
Yes.
So is there a motion to adopt resolution 2018-05?
I'll make the motion to accept resolution 2018-05, renaming Marble Drive to Circle 7 Drive.
Yeah, I'll support that.
Is there any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Okay, I am going to include the second portion of that resolution. It's moved by trustee McClendon, supported by trustee Salib, to adopt resolution 2018-05, a resolution renaming former Marble Drive to Circle 7 Drive and reaffirming the name of the street between Ty Circle Drive and Arbor Chase Drive as Circle 7. Trustee Plato?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Salib?
Yes.
Trustee Gurnine?
Yes.
Trustee Hickey?
Yes.
Trustee McClendon?
Yes.
President Gutierrez?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Next, we have an outer drive change order.
Good evening. This is outer drive. We're wrapping up the paperwork part of it. And this is the things that had to be changed. They were different from what was planned. It was planned. It was developed by the consulting engineer. When it comes down to it, and the rubber hits the road, or in this case, the asphalt or the concrete makes the road, things turn out to be different than they actually are. So this is a change in the price that makes up that difference. And as you can see, there's 12 items on here. And if you have any questions, I can tell you about any of those items.
And as the council knows, we ran into numerous things that we had no idea. Other lines, sanitary lines running through storm, structural, probably we found a structure that we didn't even know was there. We ran into a lot of trouble on Outer Drive. And I want to bring to your attention too, I know we've talked about this before, but I'll tell you, Nick, and since this project is done, Nick is an invaluable employee here. We would be lost without him, including his salary. Nick saved us in the neighborhood of probably $70,000 on Outer Drive. And he's just, I can't say enough about him. He's an invaluable employee here.
And I feel like he's always a step ahead, seeing these things that need to be changed there. So we appreciate that.
I attempt to do that.
Thank you very much.
I actually have to admit, Nick, as much as I hate to, since you started doing this, we haven't run into the problems we used to run into all the time, mid-job.
Oh,
And that's because you're doing a good job.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Today, and I was going to tell you in the comments, but I'll tell you now, but since we're talking about Nick, the chief is starting a municipal police fatal accident response team with all the small departments. We have so much talent here that we can handle our own. And Nick was asked by the chief to join that team, and he took out his station, total station. He's doing all the CAD work, so now he's doing all that too. And I think it's pretty exciting for him to get a little uniform on today and everything.
It is exciting, but remember what I told you, if they push you too far, push back.
Yes, ma'am.
He's got a lot on his plate sometimes.
Do you do drywall?
No comment.
Seriously though, thank you, Nick. It's
Yeah.
really, it is appreciated, don't think it goes unnoticed.
Thank you. Point of order here, we have a change order on the table.
Sorry.
I move that we accept change order number 4 for Outer Drive.
Support.
How much money was that?
105,000, 106,000, call it.
Should be in the motion then.
It was moved by trustee Hickey, supported by trustee Slade, to approve change order number 4 from E.R. Zeeler Excavating Carpet for Outer Drive project in the amount of $105,910.32. Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Slade?
Yes.
Trustee Burdine?
Yes.
Trustee Hickey?
Yes.
Trustee McClendon?
Yes.
Trustee Polito?
Yes.
President Gutierrez?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Thank you.
Next, we have approval of the bills in the amount of $523,258.66. Is there a motion to pay the
Make
bills?
a motion that we pay the bills of $523,258.66.
Is there support?
Support. Gotta pay the bill.
Moved and supported. Call the roll, please.
It was moved by trustee Burdine, supported by trustee Hickey, to approve payment of bills in the amount of $522,258.66. Trustee Slade?
Yes.
Trustee Burdine?
Yes.
Trustee Hickey?
Yes.
Trustee Polito, or excuse me, trustee McClendon?
Yes.
Trustee Polito?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
President Gutierrez?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Other business, none. Village manager comments?
Thank you, Madam President. Couple things. One, I wanted to start out with, we're all the time talking about the safe routes to school and parks, non-motorized transportation. The chief has talked to you several times how Ypsilanti plays a crucial part in the safe routes to school. Part of that grant is that we're going to apply for involves working together again with the school, and Mr. Carner is graciously agreed to partner in doing that grant. So SEMCOG has a little video out that I would like to play for the council that kind of explains, and if you remember, we did some videotaping with SEMCOG and MDOT and statistical things down at our intersections, all the way from town, all the way out past 23. So this is all part of that. And as I think some of you know, we're participating with MDOT and the city of Monroe with a bicycle path to our route all the way from the city of Monroe to Cabela's through town and out to Tecumseh. And this is all part of that also. So I kind of want to play this little video for you to give you an idea what we're doing.
In 2014, SEMCOG adopted a bicycle and pedestrian travel plan for Southeast Michigan. We identified the various bicycle and pedestrian facilities that existed throughout the region. This foundation made it possible to envision a unified system for non-motorized travel and benchmark the system, enabling us to evaluate and measure improvements. Whether it's a new sidewalk to a neighborhood school, a trail that connects to one of the region's 2,600 parks, or a newly paved bicycle lane to work. The bicycle pedestrian network is a vital component of our region's health, mobility, and economic success. In just 4 years, much has been accomplished. Southeast Michigan now has 3,000 miles of walking and biking opportunities. Since 2014, over 200 miles of new pathways and bikeways have been added, including the region's first 24 miles of protected bike lanes, 105 miles of local bike routes, a 29% increase, 57 miles of shared use paths, and 93 miles of shared lane markings. The plan lays out a vision for the future with 6 overarching goals, including safety, connectivity, multimodal options, education and encouragement, sustainability, and evaluation. First is improving safety to reduce bicycle and pedestrian crashes.
Really, the region has invested heavily, both fiscally and mentally, into non-motorized transportation. All of Chelsea's public schools are in town, and we really needed to improve our sidewalk network so we have safer crossings for our pedestrians, particularly school-age children.
I mean, I think walking and biking is, especially as it relates to our downtown, is absolutely critical.
Mid-block crossings make it easier to visit local attractions. SEMCOG's Walk, Bike, Drive Safe campaign reminds us that safety is everyone's responsibility. The second goal is increasing connectivity to regional destinations and core services. An expanded non-motorized network makes it easier to reach regional assets, improving quality of life and recreation opportunities.
One of the things that we're really proud of here in Ferndale is our marked bike lanes, our walkability. You know, Ferndale is a relatively small town. We're only 4 square miles. We can only do what we're doing in partnership with the neighboring communities, with SEMCOG, who has been a wonderful partner of ours, because we know that our neighbors are not our competitors. We're just a piece of this puzzle in Southeast Michigan.
The third goal is providing multimodal options for people who walk and bike.
Bicycling is extraordinarily important for the city and its residents. Number one, because it's a healthy lifestyle, but number two, it gives you another transportation option, it's another tool in our toolbox.
Bike share systems and onboard storage complement public transit and expand access to core services.
It's a pure Michigan experience for people, whether they're traveling across country or just to Chicago or from Chicago to Michigan, they can bring their bikes and experience what Michigan has to offer. For instance, in Detroit, they can connect to Michigan's Iron Belt Trail that traverses the entire state of Michigan.
The fourth goal is providing education and encouragement. SEMCOG creates opportunities for local officials to learn from each other and collaborate.
Oftentimes, communities say that they want to be more walkable or bikeable, but they're not exactly sure how to get the job done. SEMCOG Technical Assistance helps communities translate their goals and concepts into action plans.
Well, as I come across new residents over in the town, they ask what recreation we have. And I tell them the first thing about the bike trail.
And when we opened, most of the biking was on the paved and dirt roads in the area. And now with the new expanding trail systems, we're getting more people in town biking on the trail systems, and we're getting a lot of people from other parts of the state that come and visit our trail. Yeah, they talk about how much fun it is to be able to ride without having to worry about traffic, and they come in for maps to go see what trails are around the whole state and the whole SEMCOG region.
The fifth goal is promoting an economically and environmentally sustainable system.
It's kind of a wow factor coming through this tunnel here, and then out and all you see is water. So we found that every time you connect with another section of trail, the additional use is almost exponential.
It's a large contiguous piece of shoreline, open and accessible to the public in the entire thumb of Michigan. So this is an incredibly valuable stretch of parkland that we have now. And again, it's turned into a huge asset to drive people to our downtown.
So it's very clear that Pittsville Township residents want us to grow and expand our non-motorized amenities. SEMCOG has been a tremendous partner with Pittsville Township in allowing us to do just that.
Planning for maintenance while leveraging diverse funding sources, including federal and state programs, as well as local villages, ensures that the system can expand in a sustainable way. The sixth goal is evaluating the region's bicycle and pedestrian system to measure its impact.
Good data leads to good decisions, and we realized that we had a bit of a gap when it came to non-motorized data. Our priority is always safety, and we've had some real positive feedback with regard to that. We're installing new facilities. We're hearing a lot of good things about people feeling safer, but there's still more work to be done. We need to to be making sure that we're separating modes whenever we can to make sure that we're working towards Vision Zero.
There's never been a better time to walk and bike in Southeast Michigan. Leaders have stepped up throughout state and local government, along with private enterprises and advocates, to increase access and safety in all of our region's diverse places. As we evaluate data and focus on further improvements, there is no telling how far continued effort and collaboration will take us.
So that's kind of a little idea of what we're talking about with safe routes to school, and it's also going to incorporate the park across from the school that Andrea is working hard on that grant for that, and the banks have graciously an access through their easement through their property that will put a sidewalk so the kids from that end of town can walk right through that park and get over to school. So I think that's a pretty good project that we'll be working on together with the school. And I just wanted, the schools here, I want to thank you guys, and on behalf of the chief, the 2 liaison officers in the school. It's the only school in the county that has 2 liaison officers at a more than half reduced rate. Again, partnering together and working with each other to make a safer school and safer community. So thanks, guys, appreciate it. Construction of bicycle parking at the Old Mill has started. The pad is up, and the rack is pretty close to being installed. The DPW started the work out on the island out at the Cabela's today and tapping into the line for the sprinkler system. Tomorrow they're using the police trailer and going to pick up the plants and the flowers to put in there. Nick reports that the sidewalk contractors we've done by the end of August, and Taco Bell and other targeted points will also be included in the sidewalk program. The DPW is trimming trees, which we all know that you have to maintain trees to keep them healthy. So we're trimming trees, and also Trustee McClendon brought to our attention about the speed limit signs, traffic control devices being covered up by some of the trees, so they are making sure they get those uncovered also. DPW is painting the light poles, as you've probably seen around town, and installing new lights, and we're well along the way installing our new lights on the river walk, and also we'll be lighting up the dam on the river basin with our new LED lights.
What is that supposed to be done?
They're working on it right now. All the lights are in, and I told you last council meeting, they're held up in customs. They've been released, and the work has started on that. The treatment plant smell that we've talked about has been significantly reduced, but will linger a bit as the plant catches up to its treatment backlog. We're looking at, keep your fingers crossed, I don't want to jinx this, but we're looking at probably a 3-month completion date on our wastewater treatment plant. So we're moving along really well. River dredging, the DEQ permit, Nick has applied for that, and for in early July, and it has not been processed yet. So we're waiting for the DEQ to get to respond to our permit. Consulting engineer, as we get evaluation of road projects, that's for 2019, as we talked about. We're really trying to be aggressive on our maintenance on our roads. And we're working with Robin in finance. We're looking at the entire northeast section of town, McBride, Old Penfield. We would like to get a cost estimate on doing all that at once, and also maybe including Ypsilanti and Adams Street. So we'll be updating you on that as we move ahead on that. Multiple parking lot improvements are underway. As you see behind La Fiesta, those parking lots over there. Also, they were working on the Old Mill parking lot, which looks gorgeous, and we'll do striping when all that's done. So we're working quite a bit on all our parking lots also. I think that is all I have at this time, unless anybody has any questions. Oh, Rockin' the Raisin, that Lyle talked about a little bit. Sponsorship, I think I'm going to be real close to paying for the entire event with sponsorship. which is really good. Rockin' Raisin's going to be a concert on the river, August 18th. It starts at 5 o'clock and goes to 11. It's kind of a pilot. If it goes well, we're looking at every month in the summer next year of having a concert on the river and hoping that it brings everybody together and in the community. We are doing a lot of advertisement on Facebook. My son is taking care of the Facebook for us. We're at no charge. And he knows more about Facebook than I ever even thought about knowing. But he is boosting our posts. As of yesterday afternoon, he had 8,000 hits on it already. He's only had it up. He put it up during the fair. And then he was very excited and called me last night. And he said, Dad, the Toledo concert groupies clicked on it and shared it, and they have 8,800 and some odd friends on there. So it's out over 16,000 times. We have a tremendous amount of people clicking on it that they're either interested in coming, almost 900 that clicking on it, that they'll either attend or are interested in it. I met with Michelle Pellet from Monroe County Radio today. She has donated her ad agency time, and she is putting some ads on us on a radio station in Toledo, and also Nash Icon in Monroe for 2 weeks starting on the 8th. Sergeant Sale went down and volunteered his time for the ad on put it on his radio voice, and he did a really nice job on that. So he is the voice on our ad. Tanya put in a nice article today. Thank you, Tanya, in the Independent. So I think it's well on its way, and I hope it's extremely successful, and we can keep doing this. And Shirley and I talked about it earlier. There are 3 things going on that day in the village. Shirley, and she'll talk about it, but there's a fishing thing going on at the old mill, a tractor, and then the church downtown has a function going on, and I hope to see the town just full of people. I think that's very exciting. That's all I have.
So all 19 is that you wait for the DEQ permit?
Yes.
And does it look like we're going to get it done this fall?
Yes.
Thank you. I know we had that money allocated and set off to the side. Thank you.
Is there, that's it?
That's all I have, yes.
Denny?
And I just had a question as far as our retaining tapes and what happened last time with the phone not alerting anyone that we had a problem with it, where we had to put somewhat, well, so we put back in. Is there a way that we could find out another way to either A, replace that phone system, or is there some type of backup that needs to be put on that phone system so we don't have that happen again?
Mannington Smith is has met with Nick and myself several times, and they're actively investigating what the problem was, and hopefully we'll come up with a resolution to that.
Thank you.
And how are we doing on the DTE lights on Tecumseh and South Street, Tecumseh and Mechanic?
The Detroit Edison called me on Wednesday and said that they hope within a couple of weeks they will have a price to install those lights.
Because I've been on top of this, and I'm glad that they did call you. That way we'll all work together, we'll get something done. Thank you.
I just wanted to mention that I found out today that another Parks and Rec position is vacant, so we have 2 open positions now. And I know that we've talked for some time. I think maybe this is our opportunity to start the partnership with the school where we ask one of them to sit on our board. And I also would hope that maybe we can expand that to some of our other boards and whatnot too. So I think that this meeting goes to show that there's an importance of us all working together on different things. So as much as I think that we need to help and serve with you guys, I would like you guys to be able to serve alongside us. And I want to thank everyone involved with the school, because I know this sounds sappy, but I'm very excited that my grandpa, who walks in a wheelchair, is going to be able to go up on those bleachers to watch their kids play football this fall. So I'm just so thankful for everything that you're doing.
If we are afforded a seat, I know that I've spoken to our athletic director, and he will be the person that we would have on that. And that could become
that'd be a good partnership.
And absolutely, it would become an embedded partnership. Regardless of who it is currently.
With that position to be
that
the
position
seat.
would always be, we could make that be a part of that. I think that would be very good.
That would be a good bridge to connect Parks and Rec.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have it on our end. We're just waiting for the invitation.
I'm not bragging, but I was the first captain of the cross-country team, and I was glad to see this, and I hope we do get a course. Because it was the first year that we started at Dundee, and I'm glad they're really good, the boys and girls cross-country teams. Very good. Is it
Very
correct?
good.
Yes.
Very good. We have one of the best cross-country runners, male runners in the state.
Yes, you do.
He will challenge our title this year.
So wait, Tim, are you the walking man or the running man?
I was the first captain of the cross-country team, and I'm proud of it. It is so much fun now, and I appreciate how the boys and girls, all the effort they put into, because I know how hard it was to get it started and get the record, and it didn't only take a year that it was broken, but I watch this all the time on the paper, and I attend some meets, and I do hope that our school district does get a home course.
I'm confident we can work it out. Denny, did you have anything else?
That's my thing.
Or Mike?
No,
So
I'm
call
on
Denny and
my case.
Mike call to talk. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay, Andrea? Tim?
And I'd like to thank the DPW, the workers do one heck of a job in town. And I'd like to thank Officer Garbo, he requested a meeting with me to settle up some minor issues. And we went around town and discussed things, and hopefully we've cleared the air on some things, and I think things are going to work out. Thank you.
I just want to, two things. I want to put in a plug for the farmer's market that's downtown on Riley Street every Sunday. The rain finally stopped, and it's unfortunate that it stopped so much, but not for you and your crew. But the vegetables are coming in now, and it's really good. So if you can make it down there, it's 10 to 3 every Sunday. And then the other thing, there are going to be 2 candidate forums. One is going to be on September 11th, and one is going to be on October 23rd at 7 p.m. They're going to be held right here in the council chambers. We've already reserved it, so this is notice to everybody on this panel and out there in the audience to be there, and then we'll get notice out to the other candidates that are not here. That's all I have.
I was just going to say we didn't have a planning commission meeting this month for lack of agenda items, so nothing to report there, but just want to again thank the school board for doing the meeting. It's great. Thanks for putting together too. That's all I got.
I actually, I enjoyed your meeting. I learned something tonight. It's crazy that you have 196 things you're working on, but the way you guys are cutting it up like a piece of pie, I think is awesome. And I often wondered, how do you serve on a school board? Like, what is it that you pick that you're going to do, and how are you going to work on this or that or your other thing? But I was really impressed with how you guys do that. I learned a little bit of something about being on a school board tonight, so thank you for doing that. That was very educational. That's it for me.
I just want to reiterate the thanks for coming tonight. We really appreciate hearing from you, and I hope that we can do this again, like you said, next year. Also, as you reviewed your strategic plan, it reminded me that we have strategic planning coming up this fall that we talked to SEMCOG about. So we may be reaching out to you to get some tips and cues and do's and don'ts on how we should handle ours, if you don't mind. So, okay. Anything else from anyone?
Just say one more. Lyle, that was a good thing of having this pumpkin thing, because John Harnick is sick and he can't carry it on anymore, and I really hope this is something different for the Dundee area that our DDA is doing it, or DABA, and I really hope it works out.
Oh, Shirley, I'm sorry, I went right over you this time.
As Dave mentioned, on August 18th, there's quite a bit of activity going to be going on down the area. Over at the museum, we're having our 4th annual antique tractor and engine show, and along with that, we're having our first fishing derby. This is for kids from the age of 3 through 16. We had pre-registration, which blew us away last night because it's not going to finish till tomorrow. We have right now 105 children pre-registered for that event. If anyone wants to go over and help, we need all the help we get. They will be fishing on both sides of the river, on the other side of the highway, it won't be coming underneath. It's going to be seen on that side of the street, on the street. So anyway, we're really thrilled about that because, we're rethinking some of the things we're doing on that. So as I said, we're real excited about that. It's going on, and we are going to be participating with the Pumpkin Lumpkin, is that what it's called now, or whatever? Pumpkin Palooza, okay. The open bell, will be participating with, on that also, so we're excited about doing that. So we've got lots of things going on down in the area. We're thrilled. And the other thing I'd like to tell you is we have this summer, I keep telling you each month how our museum attendance has increased. And the month of June, we had 231 people visit. That did not count our paranormal visitors, did do tours over there. And also the rental in the buzz room. We had in June 566 people actually go through the mill. And that was in June. and July. We had 231. And with our rentals and our paranormal tours, we ended up having 535 people, which we think is great. They're coming from all over the world. We just had people from Spain, Japan, Poland, I'm trying to think of all different places, England. So we've had a lot of visitors come through, and they're very impressed with our facilities.
Good job, Shirley.
So we're doing it.
Is that it? Okay, meeting's adjourned.
Okay, let's